I'm Christine, and I love all things homemaking and DIY. If you love the idea of building something yourself and transforming the look and function of the rooms in your house without spending thousands on contractors to do it for you, you've come to the right place. Follow me along, a mom to four and amateur DIYer, as I step-by-step tackle my dream walk-in butler's pantry using whatever spare time I can find. Starting a project can be overwhelming. I will be the first to tell you that, but I find the hardest part is usually just starting. This project started over a year ago when we hired contractors to open up the tiny closet in our kitchen into the larger closet that was behind it. This gave me a blank slate to dream up and build whatever I wanted. After lots of thinking, planning, and gathering supplies, I finally got started with building the cabinets. After 3 weeks, I finished most of the cabinets, but decided to add one more deep countertop cabinet to house our microwave and supply even more storage. So we are picking up this video right where I left off. Everything, I was all excited to paint, and then I decided, no, I'm building another cabinet. So here we are, this is me continuing the project, and I thought since I've come so far, I should start documenting this. I had planned to make a YouTube video from the beginning, but I had so much to learn, I just couldn't wrap my mind around filming while also figuring out how to make cabinets. So here I am, I'm ready, I feel like I've learned a lot. And I think it'll be fun to see just the progress and then the final. I wanted to share some tips with you on what I've learned so far. The first is cutting down plywood. Cutting plywood can be intimidating at first. The thing that really helped me is a Craig Rip Cut guide. As you can see, it attaches to your saw. I set myself up with sawhorses with plywood on it and then thick foam insulation board on top. So the saw can slide over the wood and the blade can go a little bit under the wood, which cuts into the foam but keeps everything still very stable and safe. There are other ways to do this too, but this is what I was comfortable with. You also want to make sure that you use a new blade that has about 60 teeth or so. So it's going to be like a fine finish blade. However, if you get one that has too many teeth, I can tell you from experience, it's very hard to get a straight cut because the blade is going so slow as it's cutting through the wood that you end up with a wobbly line instead of a straight line. I can tell you this was very frustrating and I learned it the hard way. Now I take those long pieces of plywood that I cut and I cut them down on my miter saw to get a straight cut. And since my miter saw cannot go through the whole width of the plywood, I just flip it around and finish it off on the other side. And this is easier for me than using a circular saw. Now that I've got my pieces cut, I figure out where I need to put pocket holes. I use a Craig pocket hole jig, and I just put the holes where I know I'm going to attach the wood. The important thing here is setting up your pocket hole jig. I'm using 3/4 inch plywood here, so I have to set up my pocket hole jig and the bit for 3/4 inch plywood. That way, when you drive your screws into the wood, you're not going to drive them too far or not far enough. Pocket holes are so fun and easy to use, and I did all this while my kids are basically riding their bikes and playing around outside. It never ceases to amaze me that you can create your own cabinets or just anything, custom bookshelves, using just plain old plywood, some glue, and some screws. You do want to make sure that when you screw in the pocket holes that your shelves are square. As you can see, I grabbed a speed square to check. It helps to use clamps for that. I was just getting a little bit lazy at that point. Need more glue. All right. I've clamped everything on all sides, and now we drill. So these are 90-degree clamps. Extremely helpful. They do take a minute to get on, but if you're worried about having your corners square, just get some of these off of Amazon. So heavy. I really should use like 1/2-inch plywood for the back panel, but I didn't want to go out and buy more plywood because I already had 3/4 inch. So that's what's making this shelf even heavier than it should be. How do I do this? Upside down maybe? Trying to think. Yes. Now, a cabinet needs a face frame to give it that clean look at the end. So I used 1x2 poplar boards, and these worked really great. I was able to screw the pocket holes in them without them splintering at all. So I just had to measure carefully and make sure that that frame sits exactly over the edges of the plywood. Nice. All right, I think it looks good. The hardest thing about face frames is just getting everything square. If something's a little bit off, then you'll have a little bit, it won't be a straight line. So in this case, it wasn't perfectly straight, so I just did my best, and hopefully when it's all done, it'll come together nicely once it's painted. Yeah, I think we're pretty happy with it. Today is painting day. Here's the pantry. I'm not painting in there. I'm painting in the garage. Okay, so currently this is our pantry / laundry room / utility room, and it's a disaster. It's very much in transition. We've been storing our food here for the past year. It's also where I do all my painting stuff. Doesn't normally look this bad, but I'm deep in a project right now. It's also our laundry room. So yeah, I'm excited to improve this situation. Soon, this is gonna get cleaned up, and I'm gonna do my own project, a little makeover in here as well when I can. But this is all about to change, guys. I've been looking forward to this day for a very long time. I can only do one coat today because the Benjamin Moore Advanced Paint needs about 16 hours to dry and cure before the second coat, but it's going to be really strong and sturdy for cabinets. Kind of masked off everything in the garage. I'm trying to spray it in the garage instead of outside because last time there was too much wind and dust and things, so hopefully this works better. Alright, so painting can be a big pain, but I definitely love using the paint sprayer because the finish turns out just so much better than I can get with a brush. It is tricky learning how to use the paint sprayer. You have to first prime the line, so you have to make sure the paint is running through everything, and then you have to make sure that the pressure is right. I ended up having some drips on my handle here, and I had to sort that out. I was actually using a spray tip that I think was not ideal for this, so later on I ended up changing my spray tip, which had a higher volume of spray, so a wider fan of spray, and that ended up working a lot better. I also put the face frame up and just tried to hit everything I could with paint while I was out there and while everything was masked off. And I have to say that when the project is all said and done, these panels that had been spray painted were doing much better than the ones that I hand painted. The hand painted one ended up being a streaky mess. Thankfully you don't notice it as much in the final product, but definitely love the spray painting. Alright, I did it. Now I just have to let all of this dry for a whole day, and then I gotta come back and do it again. That was a big job. I've got paint all over me. Good job, Joseph.
Mom.
Yes.
Mom,
Yeah.
I'm done so I can make my smoothie.
Yes.
Can you make my smoothie?
Are you hungry?
Can you make my smoothie? Wait, are you
Guys hungry for lunch?
Yeah.
Hungry, Noah? All right, day 2 of painting. It's been a few days though since the first coat. I'm finally able to get around to the second coat, and it's been killing me because I just want to finish this and bring it inside. But painting is a process and it's worth taking your time. I've got my coffee, I've got some music on my AirPods, and I'm just gonna try to have fun. It's a beautiful day. So yeah, let's get to it. Hi, I was wondering if you could pre-mix a paint for my husband to come and pick up. Yeah, I ordered it before. It's the advanced paint. It's Schoolhouse White. Hooray! I'm saved! Cabinets are dry. I brought the first one in. So I'm not sure exactly what to do with myself because the biggest part of the project is done. So I just need to figure out how to attach it to the wall, how to attach it together. I need to do the countertop, the paneling, the trim. You ready?
Yeah.
Next step is I need to get my face frame. Okay, so I made a face frame for the countertop hutch. I just need to glue and screw this in and let that dry. And then I'll be able to go ahead and start putting the cabinets in. That's done. Now I need to add the little holes for adjustable shelves. And I got a jig for the shelf pins. This is made by Craig Tools, and it seems extremely easy, so let's see if it works. This one go here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now where's Joseph? Oh yeah, it's outside.
Okay. One, two, three, four. Okay. There we go. And then I'll do my microwave down here, and then probably just some baking supplies things up here. Wow, I cannot believe I did this. All right, see if we can get this inside. Okay, this is where we're at. So I don't love the color. I'm hoping that once everything's in there, it will change how I feel, but the color was not a match at all. And I was so focused on just spray painting and getting it right that I just wasn't even really thinking about how it looked. And now that it's done, it just looks kind of dull to me. I had gotten this color done before in a different line of Benjamin Moore paint, so it just looked different, and I loved it. I guess it's okay because it's in a small room and there's gonna be a lot of stuff in there anyways. Probably not a big deal. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I still have to trim out everything and hang the shelves and cut the countertop. Almost there though. Stay tuned for part 2 coming up next week. Spoiler alert, I was not almost finished at all. DIY projects always take longer than you think, especially when you're nearing the end. There's so much finishing work to do. I had to cut the paneling, install the trim, cut the countertops, seal the countertops, and just a whole lot of other stuff. If you'd like to stay notified, please subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can always know when I release a new video. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you learned a thing or two, and I'm looking forward to sharing this space with you as it slowly transforms.